I really think I'm dying. Ladies, ever heard this before? I certainly have. Gentlemen, ever felt like this before? I certainly haven't. Well, I couldn't, could I? Because this crippling, debilitating disorder that I'm talking about is striking down on even male members of the human species without warning. As the dark night shore closes up and the cold weather sets in, more and more men are being affected by this distressing, painful, and traumatic illness. What is it, Adam, you cry? How can I protect myself from it? Well, we're here today to give you all the facts on the single most fatal illness known to the universe, man flu. Man flu, a more deadly, vicious, and incapacitating strain of the lesser-known influenza, will leave its victim weak, sick, hurting everywhere, unable to fetch and carry, and dying TLC. The only species known to be immune to this dreadful strain of flu is us, women. It is for this reason that many cynical women are unable to comprehend the sheer enormity of suffering induced by man flu. However, I've led to believe that in 1992, scientists managed to simulate the agonizing symptoms of full-blown man flu in a female chimp. She became so ill that her head literally fell off. Now, I certainly don't want this kind of disease, and I'm sure you don't either. Cynical ladies, endangered gentlemen, esteemed judges, worthy competitors, and my fellow colleagues. My name is Jodie O'Farrell, and tonight I'm honoured to introduce you to my colleagues. Katie will be delivering the main section of the speech this evening, and Amy will be concluding our speech. And just remember, every minute in this country, one man is struck down by man flu. Women, all we ask is that each of you offers them a cup of tea, some kind words, and the undivided attention and care. Then maybe, just maybe, we'll beat this monstrous disease together.
Good evening, wise ladies and very dramatic gentlemen. I would firstly like to thank Jodie for her wonderful speech, and I would like to say thank you for her wise and intelligent comments. However, I can't. Why? Well, because I am one of those cynical, wise women, who recognises this idiotic disease for exactly what it is, a joke. In fact, nothing more than a few sniffles, a sore throat, and a bout of laziness, otherwise known to us wise women as the common cold. So women, I'm hopefully here today to help you recognise the symptoms of man flu, and better still, how to deal with your beloved at his weakest. And then I'm hopefully here to help you recognise and deal with the fact that you are the weak sex. Now firstly, recognising the symptoms of the terrible man flu. Some symptoms may include sneezing your brains out, losing the ability to reach for the remote, lost use of limbs, and unable to do anything except sit on the sofa and wallow in self-pity. Men, yes you, and you, I'm certain that you've experienced those symptoms before. And for the rest of us, I'm sure we have recognised them. But women, the ultimate question is, how do we deal with them? Frustration, although this may seem like the most appropriate response, it is unlikely to get us anywhere. So shrug your head out of the window if you like, scream and shake your fists, but then it's time to get down to business. Unfortunately, this is where I have to agree with Jodie. TLC. Tender loving care appears to be the quickest way to cure this mild illness. So stage one, the man will immediately say, I think I'm coming down for cold. With just a few sniffles, they've already accurately diagnosed themselves. At this moment in time, you're expected to sympathise with the man. Don't say anything along the lines of, oh, I'm sure it's just an acute case of man flu. This will cause immediate deterioration in your man's well-being. The better response would be, oh honey, what can I do to help? This could last for a few days until finally, it's not a cold, it's the flu. This would be stage two. By this point, your beloved will barely be able to lift his fingers to work the remote. There will often be dramatic displays of coughing and holding of the chest. Do not ever mention man flu. Bring him a selection of comfort foods, anything you can think of to comfort him. You may be required to dab at his forehead with a cool damp sponge, or even give him a foot massage. This may last for up to 5 days long. The next stage is, it's not completely gone, but I think it's going. At this stage, your beloved will be utterly exhausted. He'd spend the last 7 days or longer teetering on the very edge of life. He may have now been able to move away from the sofa, but pampering him must continue because he will still be very achy. This stage can typically last from 6 to 10 days, and any references to man flu, whether they be sarcastic or serious, will send him flying a lengthy period of resting until required to do any housework or chores. He should refrain from work until completely healed, as this may cause relapse. You may think I'm being light-hearted, joking even, but let me tell you, I have never been more serious, for I have witnessed firsthand the seriousness of the situation. Not less than a month ago, my father was struck down by man flu, rendered him utterly useless. Well, more useless. Yet my mother, a saint, a rock, a woman who has endured not one, but 2 agonizing days of childbirth, rushed around him, pandering to his every need. Finally, after days of watching this pathetic scene, I asked her why, and she replied, "Listen, Katie, both you and I know your father is a little melodramatic, so if we just play along and let him think we believe him, he'll be up and about in no time." Now don't get me wrong, I can understand why my mum said this. Albeit small part may even consider this feeling the best way to deal with my dad. But then my sensible, rational, wise, also known as cynical side, sets in and thinks, no, I will not allow him to take advantage of us. So off I went upstairs to speak to my dad. Warning bells go off in my head. Approach door with caution. So I slowly knock on the door. I pause. No answer. I knock again, this time a little louder, and hear a groan coming from the bedroom. If I had known better, I would have thought a wild animal had taken up roots inside. Immediately, I walk inside and wander over to my extremely ill dad. Immediately, he begins to bug me for things. "Get me a hot water bottle. I need a drink." I ignore his pleas, walk in and sit down on the bed. "How are you?" I ask very sympathetically. He's obviously not feeling any better as he grunts at me in response and buries his head under the pillow. "Oh, that's a shame," I say. "I bumped into Uncle David today. He was going to pop by later to watch the rugby and have a beer binge. But it's okay. I'll call him and tell him that you're ill." Thank you.
Katie, good evening. If I can ask a question, do you think there's such a thing as woman flu? and if not, why not?
It's actually been proven that women have a higher immune system, so the man flu is a common cold which all the women get, but man flu is 10 times as worse. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Good evening. I would like to thank Jodie and Katie for their highly interesting and occasionally amusing speech. Jodie put to us the severity of this illness that is man flu in all its gruesome detail. I mean, chipped heads falling off. Surely this couldn't be true, could it? Then Katie enlightened us to the truth behind this illness. A simple case of man being useless and needing someone to pander to his every needs. To be honest, I'm a little confused as to how this is different to normal. I mean, my dad is always useless, whether he's got man flu or not. Katie managed to convince me, though, that if my dad has a sniffle or complaints that he's coming down with the dreaded man flu, I should simply stock up on lava and take out a subscription to Sky Sports. However, men, if you are starting to feel ill, please don't worry. You can still save yourselves from the terrors of man flu. Rather than head for the nearest duvet, put the kettle on, make yourself a lemon sip, and do what us women do. Get on with it. However, women, if there is a willing among you, willing to care for your infected loved one as his life hangs in the balance, just remember, the sooner he is up and about, the sooner there is more washing, cooking, and cleaning to do. So perhaps it's best to keep him believing in his imaginary illness for an easier life. On behalf of my colleagues, Jodie and Katie, I would like to thank the Council Chambers, Rotary Club, my fellow competitors, and all of you for listening intently. I'm all looking forward to hearing the knowledgeable judges' comments. And just remember, more men die from choking on toast or rabies attacks than actual man flu.